Let me introduce myself. I am Alka Chaturvedi. I am chartered accountant, but my passion is astrology. I did Jyotirvid and Jyotirvisharad from Bhavans, Mumbai, and I did Hora Ratnam and Hora Vachaspati from KP Stellar Institute of Chennai, and I did psychological astrology from Faculty of Astrological Studies, UK. Today we'll discuss about Saturn. Saturn is the farthest planet from Sun, which can be seen without the help of telescope, and it is recognized by its clearly marked rings. There are rings around Saturn. And it being the farthest planet in the solar system, the last planet which was known initially was Saturn. So it clearly shows the boundary of the solar system, because its orbit is the outermost orbit. So it shows our limitation and fears, because everything was contained in the orbit of Saturn. Earlier it was the last planet known, and now astronomers have explored 3 more planets: Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Saturn remains in one sign for 2.5 years, 30 months. So it remains on 1 degree. Sometimes for more than a month, Saturn is on the 1 degree only. So that is the time when a native feels the maximum impact of Saturn. Saturn signifies cold, heavy, dull, dry, immobile quality to whichever planet or point it touches. It functions on the principle of contraction, control, inhibitions, and definition and limitation. Everything is defined in the sphere of Saturn. Saturn placement describe those areas of life where we are scared. Suppose Saturn is in ascendant, then a person will have a bit cold and guarded behavior. They will not react anything in an enthusiastic manner like the way the Jupiter people does. If it is in 7th house, then there may be a lot of insecurities or lot of issues, difficult issues about relationship or partnership. These are the areas which we need to work. We may have issues with our siblings, and we may have to work hard, or we may have to communicate properly so that our relationship with our siblings remain good. It can deny, delay, restrict, and restrain us, and we are forced to work on these matters. And then when we focus on these matters, then we ultimately become expert or authoritative figure in these areas. So people also say that Saturn never denies. Saturn makes you work hard, but it doesn't deny. Suppose Saturn is in the 10th house, then a person may think that he is not perfect in his profession, or he does not get desirable result in his profession, and he keep on working hard, and ultimately what it becomes, he becomes perfect. He becomes he becomes like an authoritative figure in his professional area, or he reached to the top in his profession. So this is the role of the Saturn. And wherever Saturn is in our chart, it shows us reality. reality in the area, or it shows a simple, cold and harsh fact in those areas. If it pushes us to accept our limitations and pushes us to perform better. Suppose a person's Saturn is in 5th house, then a person may find limited while expressing his creativity. But if he'll work hard towards the area of creativity, or he tries to improve his expression, then he may even become an artist. Boundaries, limits, rules, regulations, all these things, they come under the Saturn dominion. Saturn domain. Saturn rules boundary and enforces limits. Our parents, teacher set our boundaries or limit because they want to make us disciplined, and they want that they know that if we live or behave in a disciplined or balanced manner, then only we can achieve our targets. Without following rules and regulation, it is not possible that we will achieve our desired aims. We have to. So Saturn set the rules that we must follow in order to be just, and in order to deal in the just and fair manner. So by setting rules, we are able to protect each other. Sometimes, suppose Saturn is in the 6th house, then we may set rules for our employees, or we may set rules for our daily routine, that we have to spend this much time in working, this much time in doing exercise, and we want to be just and fair towards our employees. If Saturn is in the 7th house, then we set rules for relationship or partnership. Both 7th house rules both. So we want to share our duties in just and fair manner. Saturn shows older people in the chart, like our father, grandfather, or authority figures in our life, because these people, they want to bring discipline in our life, and they tell us about our limits, that what we can do and what we are not supposed to do. So all these things are they come under Saturn. If Saturn has hard aspects, then a person may have difficult relationship with his elders, or with his parents, grandparents, or an authoritative figure, or there may be simple lack of material comfort during childhood. Generally it is seen that if Saturn afflicts our sun and moon, the person has to struggle a bit. Saturn shows our fear also. If Saturn makes difficult aspect with Mars, then, or we may be afraid of competition or assertiveness, or we may be afraid of taking risk. We may be simply think that we do not have energy to fulfill our ambition, because Mars is energy, and Saturn rules 10th house, so it's a house of profession. So it is generally seen that if Saturn is in hard aspect with Mars, then we may think that our ambitions may not fulfill. So these are, there are only 24 hours in a day, and 7 days in a week. So Saturn expects us that we should use our time in an optimum manner. And if a person wastes his time in unproductive work, then it is difficult for him that he'll fulfill his ambition, or his productivity may suffer. If a person's Saturn has hard aspect, then the person has difficulty in maintaining structure in his life. Suppose Saturn is having difficult aspects in sixth house, then that person may not spend his time in doing productive work. He will not be able to bifurcate his time during productive work and non-productive work. And so Saturn placement shows where growth is restricted. And when we work on those areas, then we become expert in those areas. We become confident in those areas. And even if we are unsophisticated in the beginning, or we don't have much knowledge about those topics, then also we gain knowledge. Suppose Saturn is in the ninth house, then a person may feel that he's not wise or he's not learned. And when he start working towards learning something or expanding his knowledge, then ultimately he'll become learned. And so Saturn pushes us to excel. Saturn is never satisfied. It is also said that it just wants us to do better and better. Suppose Saturn makes aspect with Venus, then it is a classical aspect of an artist, because you may say that Venus is the planet of luxury and art, but for an artist the aspect of Saturn is very important, because if he does not have the Saturn aspect, then he won't be able to make a perfect piece of artwork. Because a dancer has to practice so much, or a musician has to really practice for hours before giving a perfect song, or they really need to have perseverance. And suppose about the sportsmen, they play for hours, they burn their energy just to be perfect, because the game of football is only for 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. But to perform in those 90 minutes, they really practice for hours and hours, or months and months, and years. And so this is the Saturn role. We get hint about the person's profession or ambition through the Saturn placement and its aspect. There is a saying that we reap what we sow. So Saturn gives result according to our efforts. If we are working hard, then it is possible that that expected result may be delayed, but it will never be denied under Saturn domain. Now suppose a person has Saturn in his 8th house, then what does it mean? That he needs to be committed in his shared resources, or he needs to be committed towards his partner. And if he treats his partner in a just and fair manner, then there won't be any issues. The profession ruled by Saturn are related with manual labor, like mines, road making, artist, musician, sportsman, medical, law enforcement, engineers, managers by Saturn. And Saturn gives structure, so the skeleton comes under Saturn. And then teeth, skin, knees, they are ruled by Saturn. Saturn in mundane astrology rules low paid workers, low paid people, poor people, and civil servants, factory workers, the labor intensive factories, and petrol and oil refineries, and these agriculture, all research work, manufacturing unit, fishing unit, all these road construction, all these things, they come under Saturn domain. And so Saturn affliction may give rise to, if Saturn is not is having hard aspect in your chart, then you can have ear problem, cold, fatigue, migraine, depression and other kind of mental problems also, because it depresses you. Saturn hard aspect can really make a person depressed. The metal ruled by Saturn is lead, because again lead is a thick metal, because it we wear the lead coat when we are going for the X-ray, because then it protects our body from the harmful rays of X-ray. Yes, Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius sign, and it is exalted in Libra, and it is debilitated in Aries sign. In Aries sign, it is a bit impatient. And when Saturn is positively placed, then a person is disciplined, patient, and organized, responsible, hardworking, and careful with matters. They won't make any mistake, in which a careless mistake they will never make. And it gives a person good health, balanced nature, determined. It makes a person determined towards his ambition or towards whatever he desire, perseverance. But if it is negatively placed in the chart or have many hard aspects, then a person is depressed, because Saturn can make a person very depressed and fearful and pessimistic, controlling and rigid. And so this is my analysis of Saturn. Saturn makes, you must have a clear idea of Saturn, that Saturn delays, but it never denies. So this is my analysis of Saturn. I hope I am clear to you. And next time I'll come up with my analysis on Uranus. Uranus is our extra Saturnian planet. Okay, till that time, thank you.